The look, the sound, the voice, everything. And, you know, it's so phony what's going on. I mean, the press, it's so fake. Anybody can see it was a problem. She was a horrible campaigner when she ran. You know, she ran against Biden. And I thought he was terrible, but she was terrible. She was horrible. She's bad news. She's a radical left, not very smart person.
Mr. President,
she failed her bar exam.
Love that.
She couldn't even pass her bar exam. It was brutal on her.
Trump released a statement ridiculing Kamala, saying, "You're not even the nominee yet." Trump posted this, exposing Kamala, explaining that he's not going to debate her until she's crystal clear that she's become the nominee. He wrote, "Given the continued political chaos surrounding crooked Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, general election debate details cannot be finalized until the Democrats formally decide on their nominee. There is a strong sense by many in the Democrat Party, namely Barack Hussein Obama, that Kamala Harris is a Marxist fraud who cannot beat President Trump, and they are still, therefore, holding out for someone better. It would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats very well could still change their minds." And the clock is ticking. We know that Obama's now on board, Pelosi's on board, Jeffries is on board. So it seems like it's a formality for Harris to come into play. But Trump is right. Trump already was in agreement to debate Joe Biden twice, already half delivered on that. Showed up, debated him, beat the crap out of him so badly that they had to swap in a new candidate like the WWE, tag someone in who comes in jumping off the railings. And now they want Kamala to just slot in there and act as though she's Joe, I guess. Even though the Democrats have not nominated her, it is a debate and switch, which is fraudulent. So Kamala came out and she was talking a big tough game out there outside of an airplane. Here's what she sounded like.
Previously agreed upon September 10th debate. He agreed to that previously. Now it appears he's backpedaling, but I'm ready. And I think the voters deserve to see the split screen that exists in this race on a debate stage. And so I'm ready. Let's go.
And so I guess she's agreeing to debate. Question is, are they going to debate on Joe Biden's second debate date? Okay, Trump had a date with Joe, and Kamala's like, well, I'd like to have that date. And Trump's like, I wasn't agreeing to date you. So no, until we get some more clarity on this, you've already defrauded me. You already said that you were the nominee, and then you removed that nominee like little cowards. You came out and confirmed that he would do two. He did one and then ran away like a little child. So Pete Buttigieg is out. They're trying to spread this meme around. He says that, has a presidential nominee ever agreed to a debate and then pulled out? It's a remarkable show of weakness here if Trump doesn't debate Kamala on that date. We ask ourselves, Pete, Joe Biden literally just did that. He agreed to the September 10th date and then removed himself. Who are these people? They keep telling us he's very smart. Yes, a presidential nominee called Joe Biden did the first one, lost, and then WWE tag teamed someone else in. Here's what Sean Davis wrote. Says Trump agreed to debate Biden. Okay, Biden dropped out of the race, which means Biden terminated the agreement. You people lie as effortlessly as you breathe. Exactly right. It's like, what? I'm not going to go on a date with you, a lunchtime with you. No, I don't even know who you are. Guy Benson, also a great follow, says, I'm actually surprised that Pete would dunk on his boss this hard. His boss being Joe Biden. The man literally just pulled out of the race, and therefore the second debate clearly against his will. Undeniable weakness aside, stop beating up on Joe. Okay, just give him a moment of peace, for crying out loud. Even Mary Catherine Ham agrees, says the debate was agreed to with a candidate and a campaign that no longer exists. Hello. So that debate no longer exists. She has to negotiate for her own terms and her own debate. And our friend Julie Kelly also supports this. Says the guy who agreed to the debate and then backed out of the debate is Joe Biden. Morons, this isn't hard. Read your own headlines, for crying out loud. Joe Biden and Trump agreed to hold two debates. Guess who agreed to do them both? Trump. Guess who agreed to do them both? Biden. Together. Joe Biden bailed, not Trump. Ran away like a coward after failing in his first term. Here's what Jonathan Swan and Hagerman say. Biden and Trump agreed to two debates. I'm sure Trump will debate Joe Biden on the 10th if he were the nominee, but he's not the nominee, or will not be the nominee because he ran away like a coward. Same thing here. So now they're trying to say that Trump's backing out of a debate. Their candidate literally just backed out of a debate. It's pathetic. Here is what Guy Benson says in response to all this madness over on with Fox.
It's a different campaign now. I saw her campaign put out a tweet, whatever happened to any time, any place, talking about the sort of boasting and bravado of Donald Trump. That was a challenge and a gauntlet he threw down to the winner of the Democratic primaries, who is no longer the candidate, right? Because the first debate actually happened. We had a general election debate in this country, and it went so badly for the Democratic nominee that he dropped out of the race. So if Kamala Harris would like to have debates with Donald Trump moving forward. I think it'd be good to at least have one. I think Trump is 100% right to open the negotiations all over again, because you can't just switch in a new candidate midstream in the middle of a general election and pretend like the previously agreed to things all must remain in place for you. This is very abnormal, and so this is the right move by the Trump campaign. It's a different...
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They just tag team someone in. You know how unfair that is. It's like in a video game where the guys just keep coming. They just keep coming. Someone else. Okay, I'm going to beat this boss. Someone else boss, another boss comes. Like, I just beat you. Another one comes in. Full of life, full of health. What the hell's going on here? And it's cheating. It's defrauding their own party. They had a bunch of people vote. They debated and switched. They told Trump he was the nominee, and then they threw him out because Trump was beating them. So no, he doesn't have to agree to their terms at all. In fact, he called in and was talking about this, saying Joe Biden has done a terrible job. Sounds terrible. They're trying to slot Kamala in here. Things are getting rough.
I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
Really? Was it his decision? Joining us now on the phone, the 45th President of the United States, who wants to be the 47th, the GOP presidential nominee, President Trump. Mr. President, welcome back. We used to do this before you were running for office. Now we're back doing it with the stakes much higher than who's going to win The Apprentice. But let's talk about that speech last night. Do you think we learned why Joe Biden decided not to run against you?
Well, I think it was a coup. They didn't want him running. He was way down in the polls, and they thought he was going to lose. They went to him and they said, you can't win the race, which I think is true, unless I did something very foolish, which I wasn't going to do. And I think he was so far down, and they said, you're not going to win, and you're not in great shape, and you did poorly in the debate. I think the debate started everything. It really started the fall. If he didn't have the debate, and remember, they challenged me. I didn't challenge them. They said, let's have a debate. They gave me everything I didn't want, from Jake Tapper to everybody else in CNN, and, I said, I'll take it, because I was surprised that he was willing to debate, so we debated. It didn't turn out well, but it really began from the debate. The ratings, his approval numbers went very bad, and I was beating him by a lot, and all of a sudden, you could see what was happening. They were trying to do a coup, and, I have it from very good information. I know a lot of people on the other side, too, that they went, and they forced him out between Pelosi and Obama and some others that
Clearly.
you'd see on television. It was interesting. I'd watch them on television, and they act so nice. Oh, yes, we love Joe. We love Joe. Behind the scenes, I know for a fact they were brutal.
So,
and
Mr. President,
should
he have taken yesterday, doing that Oval Office address, to resign? Because there's clearly something up right now.
Yeah.
The reports are coming out that he's falling asleep in cabinet meetings. They're scripting everything.
Don't even have cabinet meetings. Last one was October.
Nancy Pelosi had to take over infrastructure negotiation because he was all over the place. Should he have resigned yesterday in that speech?
He's been this way for a long time. He hid in his basement during COVID. They pulled a fast one. He was in his basement. When I was campaigning, I say, where is this guy? He's never out. And he's been this way for a long time. I think he's worse now. I watched the speech last night. Look, the amazing thing is you look at the other networks, they say, oh, wasn't that a wonderful speech? Wasn't he wonderful? It was terrible. It was like a terrible speech. And terrible delivery.
Funeral.
He looked like he was having problems.
Like a eulogy.
And yet you watch the other networks and you would think he was Ronald Reagan in his prime, Winston Churchill in his prime, and he wasn't. It was not a good speech. The look, the sound, the voice, everything. And, it's so phony what's going on. I mean, the press, it's so fake. Anybody can see it was a problem. He's a problemed man.
Should
he stay?
heroic.
I guess that's up to him, and it's up to the people. And I don't think they should use the 25th Amendment. You have not long to go. We have 4 months now, and then he's got another month and a half. But I will say this, the world is in a very dangerous place. I think if he goes, she then takes over, and she's worse than he is. I really believe she's a San Francisco radical. She's actually, I think, a much worse candidate than he is, and she's not doing very well in the polls, considering she's got a little birthday present.
Well, she's so progressive, and you can just look at her voting record. Nonpartisan government track says she's the most liberal U.S. senator. She's more liberal than Bernie
Until
Sanders.
they removed
when you
it.
Look at her record. And last night, I don't know if you watched Sean's show, but in his A-block, his monologue, he went through all of her radical proposals, and then he would say, listen to it in her own words, and then he'd play a soundbite of what she wanted to do, and her saying that she wanted to do this. She's against fracking. She likes the open border. She's not going to criminalize people who walk across the border. On and on and on. It just laid out how drastic her policies are. Can America survive a Kamala Harris presidency?
No. And she also wants to defund the police, and she really wants to do it more than any other person. She's the most radical person probably that we've had in office, let alone the office of the presidency. She was a horrible campaigner when she ran. She ran against Biden, and I thought he was terrible, but she was terrible. She was horrible. And she was the meanest person up there. She was meaner to him than anybody else. She accused him of being a racist with the buses, if you remember. She was the meanest person, but not a very good debater, but nasty, just nasty to him. And then when he chose her, I said, how do you do that? A person treats you so badly. He was treated so badly during the debates, and he wasn't all there even during those debates. I mean, that was a long time ago. He still wasn't there. You know, if you know him, he wasn't there 25 years ago. He was not exactly the brightest bulb in the ceiling. And this is what we got. And look at our country now with 20 million, because the number, I saw you talking before to Rachel's mom, and it was very sad. I know them, and it's what happened to Rachel was so horrible. And what happened to so many families and so many people in families with all of the criminals pouring into our country. And remember this, every single country all over the world, unless they're stupid, is releasing their prisoners and their gang members and their bad people into our country. Venezuela, which has a tremendous problem with crime in Caracas and other places, Venezuela is releasing thousands of people, criminals, gang members, drug dealers, the worst. They're releasing them into the United States. Venezuelan crime is down 72%. Their prison population is becoming much smaller. I'm surprised they haven't just moved all of them. They will. They'll soon have no prisoners. All of the prisoners are being moved into the United States, and that's true with many other countries. It's true with countries all over. The Congo in Africa is releasing their prisoners into the United States.
So, Mr. President,
and we are so stupid that we take them, and nothing good is going to happen.
It is stupid. We're taking the Congo
we have
people.
terrorists
That's far.
coming in at a level that we've never seen, mostly from the Middle East. Terrorists are coming into our country at a level that we've never seen before, and this is so bad for our country. There is nothing good about it. This is so bad for our country.
And there we were looking at some of the video from the new caravan that is heading our way.
Thought she was probably going to happen anyway, because I knew there was a palace coup going on, and I assumed that she'd be probably getting it. She had the advantage. So, no, it wouldn't matter. No, he's doing a fantastic job. He goes around. He's essentially for the worker. He's seen the worker be horribly abused and taken advantage of, and he's for the worker. That's what his book is about. That's where his feelings are.
Gotcha.
No, he's for the worker. No, he's great. He's doing a great job, and he's been very well received.
Kamala Harris has given 2 speeches now that she's the candidate, and she's going, they're almost identical speeches. This is what she's doing. She's going after you this way. Watch.
Before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. I took on perpetrators of all kinds.
Marijuana offenses and truant parents.
Predators who abused women.
AGs.
Fraudsters who ripped off consumers.
Like you guys did?
Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign,
Oh, amazing. They're going to do this
I
prosecutor
promise you,
shtick?
I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
As the attack, what's the retort?
Well, I think it's disgusting, and I get a kick out of one thing. They say, sir, be nice. You just got hit with a bullet. Maybe he's changed. Be nice. And I'd love to be nice, but I'm dealing against real garbage. When you hear that, they've weaponized the justice system against me. They've indicted me 4 times. They've pushed other lawsuits onto me. It's never happened in this country. This is like a third world country, what they've done, a banana republic. Every single court case that I have is pushed on by them. They've taken the Justice Department, used local DAs, and used local attorney generals. Every single case I have, and I just won the big one in Florida that Biden didn't win. What happened to Biden is they called him incompetent. He can run for president, but he's incompetent to represent himself in court. But just so you know, they push all these cases on me. They're the ones that started. And then they say, I'm a prosecutor. He's a criminal. They're the ones. Every case is started by them.
Yeah.
And I'm winning the cases.
Biden.
But every case, and the big one I just won in Florida was just thrown out by a brilliant judge, to be honest with you.
Eileen Cannon.
And it's disgraceful that they can do this. It's called weaponization, and it does happen in other countries.
Mr. President,
But does it get under your
It's
skin?
never happened in this country before.
Does that get under your skin when those comments are made? Because that's what they're meant to do.
It's not a question of getting under your skin. You fight back. I fought back, I think, very valiantly. But they weaponized the United States Justice Department against Donald Trump for purposes of hurting their political opponent. And so far, and I think long term, it's had a positive effect. My poll numbers are high. They're higher than they've ever been. People don't like what they're doing. They weaponize it to go after a political opponent. Now, and she was very much in charge, and she was a prosecutor, but she was a failed prosecutor. She put a lot of people people in jail that should have never been there. She
Yes.
put people in jail that were political enemies. She's bad news. She's a radical left, not very smart
So,
person.
Mr. President-
She failed her bar exam.
Love that.
She couldn't even pass her bar exam.
Ah!
It was brutal on
So
her. She
speaking
couldn't
of-
pass it. She thought she'd never be able to pass it. This is what we have as our next president?
All right, bar exams are pretty hard. Some people can't pass them the first time, they're hard. But anyways, Kamala definitely didn't pass it the first time. I think Hillary may have failed it the first time too. But interesting now that they're going to really embrace this prosecutor shtick from Kamala. So the left is now going to be in favor of prosecutors prosecuting people. She put people in jail for marijuana and then admitted that she was marijuana smoker while she was putting people in prison. You know how grotesque that is? Prison while she's lighting doobies all over the place with Willie. Are you kidding me? She was mocking people, saying that people were asking for food and water. We put them in prison. They asked for, can I have more? Like mocking them. Truant parents. Okay, their kids aren't going to school. Parents probably have another problem going on. She comes in, charges them with crimes. Great, put them in jail. That'll be good for the kids. Lunatic. And now she's going to, I guess, wear that as a badge of honor, and a bunch of lefties are going to say, I love putting people in prison, because it starts with Trump. All commandeered by the left, because it's the only thing they have. She can't stand on her policies. She's part of the Joe Biden administration. They've accomplished nothing. And so she's just going to inherit those criminal prosecutions and try to ride those into the ground, because they have literally nothing else.